Hey, everybody, you still with me? I have no idea what happened. Aliens. All right, somebody either show me your face or down in the chat, let me know that you can still hear me because I need a little bit of. I'm back. Sorry about that. All right, thank you. All right, let's hope that we don't get bumped here again. Let me share my screen one more time. Today, before I get into this, I want to talk about your Raptive stuff. Okay, you can make more money by driving more traffic to your Raptive, to your best Raptive content. All right, so they've done a really nice job of giving us our best performers posts and pages, right? All else being equal, if you have a higher RPM on certain posts, why not send more email to those posts? Many people are concerned about repeating an email. Let's have some brutal honesty about email math. Okay, let's say that your open rate is 50% on any given email. That would be great, wouldn't it? And let's say your click rate is 10%. That would be fantastic. That means that 90% of those people that received that email never clicked it. 90%. 50% never saw it to begin with. And of the 50% who saw it, did they really absorb what they were reading in the moment? Or was it a preview that showed up in their Outlook? That's just the nature of email. What's my point? My point is you can repurpose and reuse emails a lot more than you are. If you have that magical tuna fish sandwich that everybody just loves, and you know that people love it, and it has over 800 5-star reviews, you should not mention the tuna fish sandwich only once. It should probably be a regular part of your repertoire. All right. That might be a standalone email about tuna fish sandwich. It might be my top 5 sandwiches, and it's one in there. It might be my most popular recipes of all time. It might be the one I stole this from grandma's recipe box. It might be my highest rated recipes. That would be what I just gave you 6 emails or something, where tuna fish sandwiches could be used again. And it's okay. Your best stuff is worth repeating. Not everybody can absorb it. Do not make the mistake of assuming that everybody reads your emails. Oh, I just sent that one out about 6 months ago. You can send it again. All right. A couple of things that you might consider as you're creating your quick start guide, as you're creating your forever series. Add in more, actually more links on roundup styles. This can help you get more clicks. Another trick to getting a few more clicks is to be a little bit vague about the actual link. For example, you might say, is your microwave always a mess? Are you sick of cleaning it? This is the technique where you'll never have to worry about microwave cleaning again. You're not saying that use apple cider vinegar to clean it, all right? You don't say that. You're not giving that away. You're being a little bit of a tease. You're going to get more clicks, okay? So there's a lot of things that we can do. And then the last thing, if you want to make more money with your AdThrive, with your Raptive revenue, thanks to your email platform, and that's simply send more emails. You can do it. If you're sending 1 email a week right now, go to 2. If you're sending 2, go to 3. If you got 3, go to 4. I promise you, I can't think of any of you that are going to run into an issue here. Last summer, I did a test with Favorite Family Recipes. Actually, they're very, very big food bloggers. We took their big list and we split it in half. And we sent half of them 2 emails a week. That's what we normally do. So we sent the normal stuff. We sent the other half 4 emails a week. So we doubled it. There was no noticeable difference in unsubscribes, opens, or clicks rates. Raw clicks, a lot more because they were sending double the amount of emails. All right. Now, that's just one anecdotal case study, and we did not run that for years and years and years. We only ran it for just a little over a month, so maybe the fatigue factor does set in somewhere. But at the list growth that they were having, they could run that risk because they were making a heck of a lot more off of sending more emails. All right, let's get to sponsors and brand partners. How many of you do sponsored listings, sponsored posts of any kind, sponsorships of any kind outside of the Raptive ads? Share my screen here. Nobody does it? Is it too much of a hassle? Dealing with brands can be a hassle. I get it. Okay, Instagram. Haven't in a long time. Yeah, it's kind of a pain. Well, a couple of thoughts on this. I believe, I'm going to speculate here for a little bit, but I believe that newsletters are becoming the new blogs. As brands are faced with changes in the digital advertising landscape, such as cookies going away, more and more of them are interested in newsletters. Why? Because your newsletter, yours, is hyper-focused. It has a target audience. And if it matches with a brand, they want those eyeballs. They want to be in front of those people. And the fact that you have a captive audience that will open and read your stuff to the tune of 50% or thereabouts, that is very effective. Now, why haven't brands really embraced sponsoring newsletters that much in the past? Well, first, there were bigger opportunities out there where they could take their budget and throw it all at Facebook ads and YouTube ads and Google ads, and they'd be covered. It's much easier for them to manage. Second, bloggers were not very good at email, not very good at growing lists, not very good at selling their list to sponsorships, not very good at formatting their templates to make them sponsor ready. That is all changing. Today, brands are turning to newsletters faster than ever before. This is becoming a thing, and I'm going to talk about a couple of platforms that are helping with this. But you can do this at the direct level easier than you could in the past. So I'm going to talk about some of those. All right, so how to get started. First of all, you're going to need a template that showcases an ad. You can start by filling up that ad with an affiliate offer, your own product. Heck, you could make a quick start guide and turn that, make it look like an ad space. You're going to want to, at the bottom of your newsletter, have a link that says sponsor this newsletter. And then that would click and take them away over to your blog where you talk about to an interested party about how they might sponsor that newsletter. Then you're going to give some information about the size of the newsletter, who reads it, any demographics that you have. Speaking of demographics, you'll want to do some sort of survey, and there's plenty of them out there. People you can copy, you can mirror, where you're sharing, or you're asking for them to share a little bit of information about themselves that turns into your demographics that you can share with brands. You might create a media kit, and then you might just do this yourself, meaning you reach out to some of your favorite brand partners, and it's a little bit of a slog at first, but once you have some case studies under your belt, this thing can start to take off. There are some companies now that are helping to monetize in newsletters in a way that they haven't before. I'm going to show you Sparkloop here in just a second. Paved is basically a marketplace where you go list your newsletter, and then they'll match you up with brands that are interested in advertising, and they take a little piece of that deal that they're able to put together. Live Intent is a company that's been doing this for a while, but you can put Live Intent ads that are they're called programmatic ads, the same way that Raptive shows ads based off of interests, people's interests. Well, Live Intent has this big database of email addresses and has a good sense of what people are interested in and shows ads based off of that. ConvertKit Sponsor Network is something that launched last summer, but this summer in June, they just changed it completely. I'm going to share with you briefly about Sparkloop and about ConvertKit Sponsor Networks, just because I think you might be interested. Even if you're not on ConvertKit, I think this is an interesting thing to pay attention to, because ConvertKit assuredly will not be the only one that does this. I have no idea if Raptive has plans to get into this space. I know, though, that the ability to match up a brand with a newsletter saves both the creator, you and I, and the brand a lot of headache. Because instead of it being a one-to-one transaction, we have to find each other and make it work. ConvertKit can say, well, this one's like that, and this one's like that, and this one's like that. That's what Pave does as well. All right, so here's what Convert Sponsored Network looks like. And I'll go through this pretty quickly. It's a two-sided marketplace, which basically means, I'm gonna skip ahead. Basically what this means is they're helping take your, get you in front of brands and saying, hey, Danielle is interested in, is willing to allow advertisers in her newsletter. So you have to be using ConvertKit platform for now. I think they have plans to extend that. You need to be sending at least one new newsletter per week, and you can do either an exclusive or non-exclusive partnership. They have different arrangements that you can do. What does that mean? That means they want to be basically, they want to have control of your inventory. So if they book Mattel.com, what am I talking about? Barbie on the brain, I guess. I don't know. Mattel wants to advertise in your newsletter. They need to be able to know when you have inventory instead of the back and forth with you to try to figure it all out. Okay, so you approve ads, they do the rest is the gist of it. So they'll go find those brands, they'll work out the deals, and they'll bring the deals to you. They write the ad copy, you can approve it before it goes out. Last year, they did a whole bunch of work with some big name pilot creators. In fact, James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, he turned down $1 million. At least this is what they're telling us. The point is that you get to approve and reject which brands you want to work with. Here's some examples of some brands that I've seen be advertised: Athletic Greens, ButcherBox, Babbel, AppSumo, and so forth. Example of ads. Let's see here. Sponsorship ads include an image, a couple paragraphs of copy, a call to action. So you want to make sure this makes sense in the context of your newsletter. This was their original guidance. I think this is maybe even changed where it's got a little bit even tighter in certain situations. But this is an example of Nathan Barry's newsletter. He's the CEO of ConvertKit. So this just shows you he's got a sponsorship in here in the middle of his newsletter. Here's another example where in the middle of this newsletter, this is, I think, from Boise. This local place is sponsoring. ConvertKit did their own advertising for their conference. Let's jump down here. This is a newsletter, a food newsletter, and so they've dropped in a in this ad slot here. The way that they work is that they take 20% plus a 3.5% payment fee, and you keep the rest. All right, so that's what their take is for negotiating the deal for you. They have multiple types of sponsorships. First of all, if you're a big dog, they'll do a direct buy. So they might go to Marriott.com and do a direct buy for you because you are the premier travel website in the world. Also, they're going to take, because they know that that you've got a food blog and you've got a food blog and you've got a food blog, and we're going to put those three of you together. And they can then go and say to ButcherBox, here, I've got 3 great food bloggers that are willing to advertise. And then the ButcherBox doesn't have to go, try to find all these individual ones or do direct buys with each one. And then they've partnered with Live Intent to use their ad server, where you could have programmatic ads in the middle of ad copy or in the middle of your newsletter. So there's lots of different ways now that you can monetize your newsletter. For some people, you're not going to feel comfortable doing that. I get it, but your audience is used to seeing ads everywhere. So as ConvertKit and Paved and others start to do this more and more, I think you're going to see this, just like you see ads in YouTube, just like you see ads from Raptive on your websites. This is just, I think brands are embracing it more and more. The space has changed a lot in 2023. I don't know if that's because of all of the turmoil and changes happening in the digital landscape, but there's been a lot of interest in this and more companies. Oh, the way that this works, by the way, the way you get paid is that there will be some sort of negotiated or some sort of RPM that ConvertKit works out with the brand, and it'll probably vary depending on the brand and who you are, which pool you fall into. But your list size times your open rate times your RPM. So let's say that you've got a list of 100,000 people and your open rate is 50%, that means that 50,000 people are eligible to be multiplied by your RPM. Let's say it's $20. So whatever that math works out to be, 50,000, 5 times $100. I don't know, $1,000. I'm not good at math. I had to take remedial math in college. That's how bad I am. Okay. All right. The other piece is I want to tell you about Sparkloop. These are not the only companies doing this stuff, mind you. There are others. Beehive is raising, I mentioned this earlier, I think in session number 1, but they just raised a ton of money. And you know what they're talking about? They're talking about this whole ability to make a marketplace with newsletters. So they want to help newsletter creators to grow and have a great software platform, but then they want to do what ConvertKit's doing, is match you up with brands. They know there's money there. Honestly, I think this is an untapped opportunity for all of us to grow our lists big and get ready for this. Whether you use ConvertKit or not, this is going to be a game changer over the next 12 to 24 months. That is my crystal ball right here. Anyway, Sparkloop. This is a little bit different, and this was in place earlier this year. They launched this. It was actually last year, and then ConvertKit has bought them. So you can see how ConvertKit is getting serious about this space. But anyway, Sparkloop, what you do is you can be paid to promote newsletters. So here's an example of what that looks like. So Tip News pays $1 per subscriber. So if you in your newsletter say, hey, you should sign up for Tip News, you get $1 for every subscriber you send their way, or $2.50 for Stack Marketer, or $3.25 for the average Joe. I've seen up to $5 be paid out per newsletter. They have this exit screen that once somebody signs up for your newsletter, you can promote other people's newsletters and like this and get paid to do so. Okay, it's no cost to you. They just signed up for your quick start guide anyway, and boom, you're going to promote some other newsletter that makes sense. The challenge here I see with Sparkloop, just giving you the caveat, is that a lot of their content is, as you see here, it's kind of business to business, or it's really high dollar stuff. It's like stuff related to AI, or in this case, this is Nathan Barry, who is the CEO of ConvertKit, or this is proven strategies for creative entrepreneurs. All right, so there's not a ton to recommend just yet in terms of like crafts, travel, fitness. But keep an eye on this too. It's just another way that we can leverage our list to make some extra money. All right, I'm gonna hold up there because we're coming to the end here. If you have any questions that I have not yet answered during the course of these 5 days about making money with your list, if there's something that you had hoped to get out of this that you didn't get, I'd love to hear that now so that I can do my best to address it, or acknowledge it for next time, so I can get better at doing this. It's an interesting space. I understand where email fits in the grand scheme of your business. For some of you, you've ignored it for a very long time because you have 800 other more profitable things to do, or seemingly more pressing things to do. Email is kind of like eating your vegetables. If if we don't have a cinnamon roll every day and we eat our vegetables instead, and we're probably going to live longer and be healthier and happier. The same is true with the investment that you're making right now with email. What's interesting, I've had a comment with somebody that's just getting started with their email. She has 30,000 page views. I recommend the same approach to somebody who has 30,000 page views a month that I do to somebody who has 300,000 page views a month, to somebody that has 3 million page views a month. It's the same activities, the stuff we talked about here. So whether or not you do it now where you are and build this system to invest and grow with you, that's up to you. That's your call. But if I could get you to do it, you will not be sorry. This is that type of eat your vegetables investment. Go to the gym every day, whatever analogy you want to use. You will be able to have some significant growth. If you have an email list with thousands of subscribers, you spend hours a day answering emails from your subscribers. Boy, wouldn't that be a good problem to have? The reality is that no, most people never hit reply. Some, in fact, you want replies to your emails for lots of reasons. One is deliverability. When people reply to your emails, that is deliverability gold. That keeps you out of the spam box. That actually can end up in the inbox tab instead of the promo tab, because that person, we don't reply to Banana Republic. We don't reply to Walmart. We reply to grandma, and then that keeps it in the inbox. Number two, you learn a lot. You find out what they're asking, and you can, if you get the same questions over and over again, address those questions with content. But no, the answer is no. Typically you don't spend a lot of time. Do you have to manually put the inline subscribe form into each post manually? No. How do you get it to target the post in a particular category? Okay, so this depends on your platform. With WordPress, you can use reusable blocks. You can also do with ConvertPro, ConvertBox, and those. You can also have set up short codes where they show up. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can go about achieving that, where it shows up on every post. If need be, do a quick task from somebody like Grayson at iMark Interactive. He's not very expensive, and he can set that up for you very quickly if you don't know how to do it. That's iMark Interactive's Grayson Bell. Great questions, everybody. If this has been helpful to you, and I hope that it has, do me a favor. I want you to send a note to your rep at Raptive and let them know. Now, of course, that's self-serving, but it is also, I think, in your best interest to let them know that it was helpful, so that they continue to invest in your growth in other areas. If it's not email, it might be in SEO, it might be in Pinterest, it might be in video, it might be in whatever the next whiz-bang thing that comes out. Raptive, I know, is doing their best to provide you with additional services to help your business. Okay, more questions here. This is great. I love the questions. Good. Let me go back to them here. If we have questions that pop up in the future, is the Facebook the best place to ask? Yes, it's a great place to ask, and you can email me directly anytime. But I'm not planning on taking the Facebook group down anytime soon, so go ahead and do that. What do I do if I want to remain a faceless website and newsletter? Do you simply mean that you don't use your name? I have a newsletter with another brand where it doesn't have anybody's name associated with them, like something like, let's say you're called the Penguin Group, or Penguins Are Us. What you might want to do is send your emails from the Penguins Are Us team. Okay, it doesn't have to have your face on it. All right, thank you so much, everybody. If I can be of assistance in any way, let me know as you're building out your email strategy. And again, I don't want you to get stuck, so hit me up. I will stick around for a few more minutes. If anybody has any questions you want to unmute, we can chat. But otherwise, it's real great to hang with you for the last 5 days. I look forward to seeing you in person, maybe at a Raptive event. Wouldn't that be great in one of these days? All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Danielle.
All right. So I was the one that asked about the faceless website, and I asked because this is kind of like my first, website I've ever had, and I bought it. So it wasn't anything that, I've put all my blood, sweat, and tears into from the beginning. It's just now I'm like starting to clean it up and, redo everything. And so yeah, it is faceless right now, and I kind of want to keep it that way. Like I don't know. So have you seen like that work, or am I like trying to make a brand, and I really shouldn't even be focusing on that, and I should just kind of try to sell things and just get traffic only? You know what I mean? Does
Yeah,
that
I
make
totally
sense?
do. Yeah, it's
Okay.
an important question, and one that you're going to have to come to terms with. But I think if it has a brand name, it doesn't have to be Danielle. It can still remind. I'm so sorry. What is your website?
it's called Bogotin, so it's not even a good brand name. It has this person just came up with a random word, he said.
Okay. All right.
So yeah,
Well, Bogotin means something to the audience, and it could be, you could have some fun with it. The uh, the Bogotin team, the Bogotin bunch. Here's some Bogotin
yeah,
buzz. You know, it doesn't have to have your name on it. Look at newsletters like the Morning Brew. That is, it's like CNN or AOL, or you know,
yeah,
it's a whole media company. Bogotin is kind of like that too, and you could have different writers write for Bogotin.
yeah,
Um, to the end user, I don't think it matters.
yeah,
There is plenty of information out there in marketing land about people prefer to do business with people, and so
yeah,
having a face attached to it is a
yeah.
good thing. Um, I know some people will even make up a persona. I'm not saying you do that, but some people make up a
Yeah.
persona and have a
I thought about, yeah,
have a
doing
stock
that as
image or
well.
something, or they change their name, um, but use their photo, but just call themselves something different, so they feel, you know, so it's still, they can still use their information, but feel like nobody's
Yeah.
going to come to their home address and knock on their door. So yeah, but there's plenty of businesses that we don't know who's behind them, and we're just fine with it. The Morning Brew, go sign up for their newsletter. You'll get a sense of how they do it.
Um, and can I ask one more question?
Of course.
So this website is it is a lot of roundups, and so I'm gonna, I'm trying to incorporate more like informational pieces and post, but um, I don't know, like am I still solving a problem, or, is it bad that I'd be sending them to a website that's basically just a roundup of, I don't know. I mean, I've already like made the email and to me it makes sense, but do you work with any clients that just are roundup websites? Like, do you
Well,
still see that
I
anymore
see
at
it all
all?
the time. Yeah. Oh,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. So I mean, like, take a look at Insanely Good Recipes. That's one that
Okay, good.
is probably pretty famous in the space, and they do a ton of email,
Oh,
um,
good. Okay.
and because the point is, what is Bogotin's main cleaning? Is that right?
No, that's just one category, but it's
Oh.
more like it's more home decor actually.
Home decor.
But
Okay.
organization, DIY.
What do they really want? They want inspiration. They want to know how to. So if you tell me, here are, like, when you know, if the last time I bought a house, you know, we wanted to decorate the house. And so we went to Pinterest and Houzz and all these places to see how are we going to do the foyer,
Yeah.
or whatever. And so I wanted to go through a lot of a kind of roundup
Yeah. I
of
still search for
ideas.
that
Exactly.
myself. Yeah.
So I absolutely, you know, it was like with food with roundups. You can say cookies, but you may like oatmeal raisin cookies and I may like chocolate chip cookies. Now you'd be wrong. That's one thing, but
Yeah.
you have different tastes
Agree.
than I do. So you go through that. The oatmeal raisin is there for that person, and the chocolate chips there for me and you. So you're still solving the cookie problem.
Got it. Okay, good.
Yeah, I think you're facing some of those interesting questions that are existential when you're launching.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, I hope that helps. Anything else you guys have? All right. Well, it's been great. Good luck. Have a wonderful weekend. If you do anything besides email this weekend, you're doing it wrong. We'll see you soon.
Bye.